For all the latest reviews, interviews, and everything entertainment in Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, and Telugu, subscribe to Film Companion South now.
Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. Now, Pandiraj's films can be considered their own genre. They are the large households plus rural traditions plus a little action plus a little comedy plus a little family emotions genre. But in Etharkum Thuninthavan, starring a dynamic Suriya, Pandiraj takes a bit of a U-turn in the sense that you still have the rural sentiments, you have the traditions, you have the average comedy scenes, unremarkably staged action scenes. So far, so generic. So you can keep watching your smartphone and not miss a beat. But the U-turn I was talking about comes in a set of scene that involves Surya's family. Now, there's the wife played by Priyanka Arul Mohan, there's the father played by Satyaraj, there's the mother played by Suriya, and there's also a dead sister who may remind people of a character from Karnan. Now, I'm trying not to spoil the scene for you, but in general, in a mass kind of scene with a big hero, you rarely see the hero himself or the hero's family themselves getting affected. In the sense that, a mother may die or a father may die, something like that might happen. But here, the hero's family is affected by the very crime that the film keeps talking about. It's about manam or honor. The film's issue is that sex videos are being made of women like it happened in Pollachi, and it's Surya's job to catch the bad guys. Simple enough, right? But what if he's unable to do so when it comes to his own family? Especially after we've seen him as a self-appointed lawyer and vigilante come judge in one. This set of scenes really surprised me because you rarely find them in a mass masala movie of this kind. There's a bit of mass, there's lots of masala, everything. This kind of scene surprised me because it involves the fact that it is important not to blame the women. It is important not to get embarrassed because somebody in your family has gotten spoiled. And this part reminded me a bit of Jayakantan's Sila Nerangalil Sila Manithargal. Now, there's a line by a woman that addresses the men who make these videos. Basically, she says, that means it's like my body is not half as vulgar as your twisted minds. And a little later, when the affected woman herself makes a videotape to send back to the guys who did this to her, I wanted to whistle. It's a great mass moment, and you could almost call the film Etharkum Thuninthavan. A big round of applause to Suriya for not just talking the talk but also walking the walk, in the sense that he could have easily asked Pandiraj to say, make this thing happen to some other family, not my own family, right? So that my masculinity remains intact, my heroism remains intact. But that would not have driven the point home so strongly, and that also would not have driven home the point that in a screenplay, it is always good for the hero to fall and then rise again. This is what makes him a human being and not just a lecture dispensing machine, and this is a screenplay writing you could say trope that we rarely follow in our big movies involving the big stars. Usually the hero is so powerful, he's so invincible that there is zero suspense about his character arc. But in films like Master, Manadu, and now Etharkum Thuninthavan, we seem to be seeing a new kind of hero who fails personally in his personal life before he learns how to succeed. Even in Surya Reporters, Surya had a scene that emasculated the hero in a manner of speaking, and maybe only in his own eyes, the hero's own eyes, when he had to ask his wife for money. So again, he falls before he rises again. At least in his eyes, he falls before he rises again. Is this going to be a regular thing with the big hero movies? Fingers crossed. The rest of Etharkum Thuninthavan, as I said, is pretty generic. It's big, it's colorful, there are a few laughs. And here's the thing that I had a little problem with. Despite the adult subject matter, we are constantly made to feel that we are watching a family entertainer for all ages. The cutesy family scenes, the cutesy romance scenes, they go on, and the scenes with the violated women or the people involved with these violated women, they are kind of inserted in between with a few quick cuts like in a hurry movie, and then we quickly go back to another cutesy romantic scene or another cutesy family scene. So these intermittent scenes, which is the film's core, they hardly matter in the first half, and we have to wait till well in the second half until this matter begins to be treated with some amount of dignity. Oh, here's another screenwriting thing that I liked. I like the fact that we see a bunch of people dying at the beginning, and you're like, oh my god, this is the end. Are they spoiling the end for us? But there's a kind of twist waiting at the end, and I liked how it looked back to the beginning. But man, this last stretch goes on and on and on. You know, the point has already been made by several people in the movie earlier, but here we get, you know, this is a real lecture dispensing machine, this stretch, because people keep making the same point over and over and over again. Now, if you shorten this stretch, or if you had taken a song out, or if you had taken a fight out, we would have gotten a much shorter and probably more effective movie. But the biggest problem in this film is that the villain, Vinay, is a total misfit. He kind of is made to be one of those old-fashioned, you know, rich man means he plays the piano kind of villain, and it feels very odd in this rural atmosphere. I think they were going for some grandeur to show some guy, you know, with this, all this, you know, richness and everything else, but nothing around him seems that rich except for the set. So I guess the movie would have worked better had the villains been some young guys, misguided youths, that kind of thing. As for the rest of the performances, Satyaraj has nothing to do, Priyanka is bland, and Saranya plays a 10,000 version of the loving mother who asks Suriya things like, Ucha poitiya, we're supposed to find this cute. A plea to future directors, if you are going to use Saranya, who's a really talented actor, as the mother, why not make her a serial killer? You know, just a thought. Just think of this. The hero uchapoifies and comes out of the bathroom, and she has this knife, this sharp serrated knife or a machine gun, and she kills this person. I mean, just a thought. One thing I kept feeling is that the screenplay has a Kamal Hassan kind of feel, but like Mahanadi or Satya, but made into a mass kind of movie. I'm not just talking about plot points or specific things, but the general feel of the movie. Of course, this isn't as nuanced or textured or subtle as those movies, but there is something about the feel. Let me know in the comments if you got that feel too. The reason I bring up those Kamal movies is also because they are textbook examples of how these issues should be handled in a movie. Those movies are not trying to be family entertainers. They keep the issue at the core. The issue is not something that is there for the hero to just address later on, and earlier on he just kind of sings and dances and fights around it. But I guess we live in a different era now, and if we got those kinds of movies today, somebody in the audience would say "Romba laga irukuppa" or something like that. So anyway, given the issue and given Pandiraj's sensibilities, Etharkum Thuninthavan is a little above average, I would say, in terms of watchability for movies of this genre. I wish it hadn't been so generic at times, but there are also those touches that I mentioned that elevate this just a bit. If you like this video, keep watching Film Companion South, and see you soon at the movies.